Hey everyone, Norman here, and I'm super excited to share something really cool with you today. I've been working on an AI agent inside Copilot Studio, and I hooked it up with OpSWAT Meta Defender, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, and even SharePoint. Basically, it's like having your own smart assistant that helps SOC analysts with their daily grind. Things like hunting threats, enriching IOCs, and even handling reports. Now, here's the fun part. This is kind of my own spin on Security Copilot. We all know Security Copilot is really awesome, but let's be honest, it can also be pretty expensive or not available to everyone. I built this as a cost-friendly alternative that still gives you that AI superpower in the SOC. And don't worry, it's not here to replace analysts. Think of it more like a teammate that makes your job a whole lot easier. So alright, let's jump in and check it out. So let's take a quick look at the high-level architecture of AISOC2 agent. On the left, we have the users. These are our SOC analysts. They can interact with the AI agent through different channels like Microsoft Teams or M365 Copilot. And the cool part is this can also be extended to other platforms like Telegram, Facebook Messenger, and Slack, etc. So you're not limited to just Microsoft environments. In the middle, you'll see Copilot Studio. This is the brain of the whole system. This is where I created the AI agent. So this is your factory house for your AI agents. So inside, we've got AI agents, which do the actual reasoning and response generation. Power Automate, which helps orchestrate tasks and workflows. Knowledge sources, where you can plug in internal documentation or playbooks for the AI to reference. And most importantly, custom connectors and tools, which allow Copilot Studio to reach out and talk to external systems. Now, on the right side are the integrations. Copilot Studio supports a huge list of platforms out of the box. But for this project, I focused on a few key ones. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint for security, telemetry, and hunting. SharePoint and Outlook, Office 365 for collaboration, storage, and reporting. And since OpSWAT Meta Defender doesn't have a ready-made connector, I built a custom connector from scratch. That's one of the really powerful things about Copilot Studio. You can extend it to any API and make it fit your environment. Finally, there's the internet integration, which means the agent can also reach out for external intelligence, enrichment, or other API-based services. So in short, AISOC2 sits right in the middle, acting like an AI-powered teammate that connects your analysts, tools, and knowledge into one smooth workflow. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, check out my previous video on LinkedIn where I shared some of the projects I worked on a few years back. It gives you a good idea of how my journey with AI and cybersecurity started and how those earlier experiments led to building projects like this one today. Go give it a look. I think you'll find it interesting. Alright, now that we've talked about the why and the architecture behind AI SOC 2, let's roll up our sleeves and actually start building this AI agent inside Copilot Studio. The cool thing about Copilot Studio is that it gives us a no-code, low-code environment where we can design conversations, connect to APIs, and even build custom connectors all in one place. We'll start by creating a brand new AI agent, give it a name, and then set up the basic conversation flow. From there, we'll connect it to the tools that matter most for SOC work, like Defender for Endpoint, SharePoint, Outlook, and of course, our custom OpSWAT Meta Defender connector. Think of this as building your own mini security copilot, but tailored exactly to your environment and your workflows. So let's jump right in and get our agent up and running. Alright, let's get started with Copilot Studio. First things first, head over to copilotstudio.microsoft.com and sign in. If you're part of an organization, make sure you already have access. Then if not, just reach out to your admin to hook you up. But if you're doing this for personal learning or testing, no worries. You can spin up your own free Azure subscription and grab a trial Copilot Studio license, and that is super easy to do. Once you're logged in, go ahead and click on Agents, then New Agent. Now, Copilot Studio might ask you to create an AI prompt, but for this walkthrough, I'll skip that and just hit create. We'll handle the fun configuration part manually. It might take a few seconds to load, so hang tight, but once you land on the agent overview page, that's where the magic starts. Click Edit Details and let's customize your agent. Give it a cool name. In my case, I'm naming mine AISOC2 since it's built for SOC analyst support. Add a description so anyone using it knows exactly what this agent is all about, and it is for SOC use. For now, I'll just leave the default logo. You can always jazz that up later. Once you're happy with it, go ahead and hit save. Boom, you've just set up the foundation for your very own SOC AI agent.
Okay, now let's head over to the Tools tab in Copilot Studio. This is where things get exciting. Tools are basically the superpowers you give your agent. Without them, it can chat, but with them, it can actually do stuff. Think of them like plugins or Lego pieces you snap in to make your agent stronger and more useful. So let's click Add Tool. Here you'll see a big list of connectors that Copilot Studio already has built in. It's pretty cool. You'll find connectors for Microsoft services, third-party apps, and tons more. And if you're looking for something specific, just use the search bar. In my case, I'm looking for Meta Defender, but as you can see, only my custom Meta Defender connectors show up. That's because I created them earlier before this video. If you're doing this for the first time, don't worry if Meta Defender isn't there yet. That's totally normal. So let's build one. Click on New Tool, then select Custom Connector. Now here's a little heads up. Sometimes this will redirect you to the Power Apps site and you might get an error message. Don't freak out. That usually means either you don't have the right license or you're logged in with a different one. For example, in my case, my license is tied to Power Automate. So instead of using Power Apps, I'll just open a new tab and type in make.powerautomate.com. And boom, that's where we'll continue building our custom connector.
Now, since OpsWatt Meta Defender doesn't have a ready-made connector in Copilot Studio, we'll build our own custom connector. To do this, we switch over to Power Automate. First, I type in the make.powerautomate.com in the browser address tab. Then go to Custom Connectors and choose Create New Connector. Create from blank. I'll give it a name like Meta Defender API Connector. Then Continue. Then put some description to it. Then select HTTPS in the scheme. Then I'll define the base URL for the API, which is MetaDefender's public API endpoint, api.metadefender.com. Base URL, let's put here /v4. Next, I configure the authentication, in this case, an API key. Then the parameter label is API key. Then the parameter name is API key. And by the way, the reason I know what I need to put in here is because I read the OpsWatt Meta Defender API v4 documentation. Just Google it, you will find it. Once that's set up, I add actions in the definitions for the operations I need, such as file hash lookup, IP reputation check, or domain reputation check. But I don't want you to bore you on setting this up one by one. I already have prepared the Swagger config, so I'll just paste it here. If you want a copy of this Swagger config, just look in the LinkedIn post. The links are there for all the resources you will need to build this agent. Okay, now let's proceed to the code setup. Here's the important part. Sometimes the Meta Defender API returns HTTP errors like 404, which is not found, and 400, which is bad request, instead of a clean 200 response. By default, that would cause Copilot Studio or Power Automate to fail, which isn't great for the SOC analyst experience. I know I mentioned earlier that Copilot Studio is a no-code, low-code platform, but every now and then situations like this pop up where we'll need to drop in a few lines of code. Nothing scary, just a tiny bit of coding to help us reach our goals. So, what I did was add a little C# script in the custom connectors policy to control how HTTP responses are handled. This script catches any non-200 responses from the API. It then formats them into a consistent JSON response, so the AI agent doesn't crash or throw errors. Instead, the agent can gracefully say something like, "No results found for this hash," or "This domain has no threat data available." And that way, analysts always get a usable response even if the API didn't return data. If you want this C# script, just go to the resources link I provide in this video post. Now make sure to click Update Connector for your changes to take effect and allow you to test it. Once the connector is saved and tested in Power Automate, I can now bring it into Copilot Studio and use it directly inside my AI agent.
Okay, now with the connector defined, the next step is to actually create a new connection to Meta Defender. So I go to Test, New Connection, and then put the API key. Make sure you already have your API key from OpsWatt Meta Defender. Press Create Connection. Then click the refresh button to show the newly created connections. Select your connection. After that, I test one of the actions, like doing a sample hash lookup to confirm the connector is working. Put the sample hash and click Test Operation. If the test succeeds, it means Copilot Studio can now talk to Meta Defender through this custom connector, and we're ready to integrate it into the SOC AI agent. If you need to test the other actions, just simply click one of the actions and do the same steps that I showed to you.
Alright, let's jump back into Copilot Studio Tools. Now let's search for the Meta Defender API connector. That's the connector we created earlier. Once it pops up, you should see 4 different connectors available. These are Get Domain Reputation, Get File Analysis by Hash, Get IP Reputation, and Get URL Reputation. So these are the building blocks our agent will use to check and enrich IOCs. So pretty cool. Now we'll need to add them one by one. So let's start with Get Domain Reputation. When you select it, you'll be asked to choose a connection. In my case, I already have the Meta Defender API connector from our Power Automate testing earlier, so I'll just go ahead and reuse that. Super simple. But if you don't have one yet, or if you just want to create a fresh connection, no problem. Just click Create New Connection, drop in your API key, and hit Create. Easy as that. Once that's done, click Add to Agent, and we'll just keep the default configuration as it is. Now, just repeat the same steps for the other Meta Defender connectors, file analysis, IP reputation, and URL reputation, and you'll have your full set ready to go. Awesome. Now that we've tackled the Meta Defender custom connector, which by the way is probably the trickiest part of this setup, we can move on to something a little easier, connecting to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, or MDE. So what's MDE all about? Well, simply put, MDE is Microsoft's endpoint detection and response platform. It's a powerful tool that helps security teams hunt threats, investigate incidents, and protect devices. And the best part? Through Copilot Studio, we can tap into MDE's advanced hunting feature to run KQL queries and pull out real-time results straight from the EDR tables. Now to add it, just search for Defender for Endpoint in the tools list, and you should see the connector for advanced hunting. That's the one we need. Now here's an important note. You'll need at least a reader role in MDE to be able to query those tables. In my case, I already have access with my account, so I'll just go ahead and use it. If you already have an existing connection for MDE, feel free to reuse it. But if not, no worries. Just click Create New Connection. A new window will pop up and you'll hit Create and sign in with your organizational account. In my case, since I'm the administrator for all these platforms, I'll just use my admin account. But quick heads up, this is not best practice, and I don't recommend doing this in production. I'm only using my admin account here for demo purposes and to keep things simple for this walkthrough. Once you're signed in, go ahead and click Add to Agent. And just like before, we'll keep the default configuration as it is. Alright, we're done with MDE. That was nice and quick. Now, let's give our agent the ability to send emails using Office 365 Outlook. For that, we'll add the Send an Email v2 connector. So, just search for Office 365 Outlook in the Tools list. You'll see a bunch of options show up, but the one we want is Send an Email v2. So this connector lets our agent send emails directly through Outlook using my organization's account. In my case, I'll be using my admin user again, but remember, this is just for demo purposes. In a real production setup, you should always use the right dedicated account for security best practices. Next step, select a connection. If you already have one, you can simply reuse it. If not, no problem. Just choose Create New Connection. A new window will pop up, click Create, and sign in with your organization's account. Once you're signed in, go ahead and click Add to Agent, and just like before, we'll keep the default configuration as it is. Now that our agent can now grab IOC data from MetaDefender, pull EDR logs from MDE, and even send emails through Outlook, which is pretty powerful already. But let's take it one step further. To really make our agent grounded and relevant, we'll give it some knowledge sources. Think of knowledge like a library of reference materials your agent can study. The more relevant knowledge you feed it, the smarter and more precise it becomes when helping with investigations. So let's head over to the Knowledge tab and click Add Knowledge. A window will pop up with several options for where your knowledge can come from, like documents on SharePoint, OneDrive, public internet links, databases, Azure AI Search, Azure SQL, and more. For this demo, I'll use SharePoint and the public internet. Okay, first let's try SharePoint. I'll select SharePoint and then provide the reference link where the knowledge source should pull documents. In my case, I have a security folder in SharePoint where I've stored a copy of CSAS Cybersecurity Incident and Vulnerability Response Playbook. This playbook is also available on the official CSAS website. It's a TLP clear document, which means you can freely use it too. I'll select that document, confirm my choice, and that's it. You can choose to include the entire folder or just a specific document. It's totally up to you. For me, I'll stick with the CSAS playbook. Now, don't forget to add a meaningful description so your agent knows exactly what this knowledge source is about. And once that's done, press Add to Agent. Next, let's add another source, but this time from the public internet. There's a fantastic GitHub repo by Will Oram that contains some collection of cybersecurity incident remediation steps and recommendations. Adding this will give our agent even more ideas when generating reports or suggesting remediation. So, click Add Knowledge again, choose Public Websites, and paste the GitHub repo link. Add a description like quick reference notes for remediating major cyber incidents. Since I don't own this repo, I'll leave the owner box unchecked. Finally, press Add to Agent, and there we go. Our agent is now backed by solid real-world cybersecurity knowledge. Now that we've added knowledge sources for our agent, we're almost at the finish line. The next step is to update the agent instructions. So why do instructions matter? This is where we define how the agent should think and behave. Think of it like prompt engineering. We're basically giving the agent a playbook so it knows exactly how to investigate and respond. Now head over to the Overview tab, go to Instructions, and press Edit. You'll notice the editor only accepts up to 8,000 characters, so you need to be intentional about what you put in. Instead of typing everything out here, I've already prepared and tested my set of instructions, so I'll just paste them in. If you'd like to use the same template, I'll share the link with you. Now here are the 9 tasks my instructions cover. We have extract IOCs to instruct how the agent will collect IOCs users' inputs. We have create MDE hunting queries to instruct how the agent build hunting queries. Then we have instruction for agent on how to reference the correct MDE tables. And my favorite part, we have instructions to agent on how to enrich IOCs from MetaDefender OSINT using the tools we created earlier. So we have tool for hashes. This will invoke the get file analysis by hash tool. For the domains, this will invoke the get domain reputation tool. For the IP addresses, this will invoke the get IP reputation tool. Lastly, for URLs, this will call the get URL reputation tool. And of course, it will analyze the JSON results to make sense of the findings. Here's the smart part. The agent isn't just guessing which tool to use, it's following rules in the instructions. If the IOC looks like a SHA-256 hash, the agent knows to call the hash analysis tool. If it's a domain name, it calls the domain reputation tool. If it detects an IP address, it uses the IP reputation tool. And if it finds a URL, it calls the URL reputation tool. Basically, the agent matches the IOC type to the right enrichment tool automatically, so analysts don't have to babysit the process. And for the rest of the instructions, we have summarize findings to summarize all the collected data and analysis. We also have provide expert analysis. This will instruct the agent to act like a cybersecurity expert when analyzing data. Also, the follow execution logic. This will execute the hunting queries and call the advanced hunting tool we created as well earlier. Also, the generate an executive summary report. This will instruct the agent to create an executive summary report for the users and readers, also instructed on how the report will look like and how the agent will send the report via email, which will invoke the send an email tool we created earlier. Lastly, the apply interaction rules. This will keep the agent to focus on giving concise and relevant responses. Of course, you can tweak and refine your own instructions, but for me, this setup has been working really well and gives my agent a solid foundation to support SOC investigations. Alright, now that we've defined the instructions, we know exactly what to expect from our agent. But here's the thing, when users like SOC analysts first start chatting with the agent, it can feel a little tricky to know where to begin. That's where suggested prompts come in. Think of suggested prompts as little conversation starters. They give users a quick idea of how they can interact with the agent and what kinds of questions or requests are possible. To set this up, head over to the Overview tab, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see the Suggested Prompts section. Click the pencil icon and you'll be able to add your prompts. For example, let's add one called What is your capability? As the title, and for the prompt itself, we'll type What is your capability as an AI agent? Next row, let's create another one called Lookup hashes with the prompt, please find these hashes from MetaDefender. You can add as many as you like. Basically anything that helps give users ideas on how to start their investigation with the agent. These prompts will show up right when they engage, making their first interaction smoother and more intuitive. And don't forget, after adding them, hit the Save button to lock in your changes. Okay, finally, we are now ready to test our AISOC2 agent. I've prepared a set of IOCs that we can use for the agent to process. To test this, I'll just copy the message or text I prepared and paste it into the chat panel on the right side of the screen. Now, if you don't see the chat panel yet, no worries. Just click the test button at the top right corner of Copilot Studio. That will pop open the chat window, and right away you'll notice the default greeting from our agent waiting for you. So now I'll go ahead and send the message with our IOCs, and let's see if the agent processes it properly. Fingers crossed. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, if this is your first time running the agent and its custom connector tools, you'll need to manually connect those custom connectors through Connection Manager. For the built-in connectors like SharePoint, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, MDE, and Outlook, the agent will also prompt you or the user to grant access. Don't worry though, This setup is only required once each time you deploy the agent or update its tools. After that, everything will run seamlessly. Once you are done connecting the tools, simply go back to the chat window and press retry button. Or you can start from a new conversation again by simply clicking the restart conversation. It is like a refresh button on the top right corner and below the test button. Now at this point, you should see the agent responding with its insights and findings based on the IOCs it gathered from MetaDefender, the knowledge source, and the MDE logs. This is exactly the kind of information a SOC analyst would need during an IOC investigation to quickly understand context and move the investigation forward. This also proves that the agent, its tools, and the knowledge sources are working seamlessly together to deliver the right information to the SOC analyst. Now that the agent has finished checking the IOCs and provided its findings, the next step is to ask it to generate and send an executive summary report directly to my email. Okay, now I'll open my Office 365 Outlook to see if the report has been delivered to my inbox and review the report from there. Okay, now that everything is working as expected, let's deploy the agent to supported channels. In Copilot Studio, I'm opening the Channels tab. For this demo, I'll use Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot portal so our users can access the AISOC2 agent. Now I'll select Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot, then click Add Channel. Copilot Studio asks me to publish first, so I'll click Publish. Publishing can take a bit. Once it completes, then we will continue. Okay, publishing is done. Go back to the Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot channel settings. Click the availability options, then click the Manage Sharing. Here I add Norman as one of the users, but ideally you should add SOC Analyst's security group here and their permission to view and click Update. Next I'll click See Agent in Microsoft 365. This opens the Microsoft 365 homepage with the AI-SOC2 agent panel. On this page, I'll press Add to install AISOC2 for my account, which is the admin user account. After installation, I can immediately test the agent. On first use, the agent will prompt for authorization to the connected services, but that's expected, and it's a one-time setup per user. Make sure your users have the right access to custom connector, SharePoint, MDE, and Outlook before they try it. Now I'll open the Teams app. I'll go to Apps, Manage Your Apps, search for AISOC2, click Add, and accept the prompts. Then I'll open Teams Copilot. In the upper right panel, I can see AISOC2. I'll click it to start a session. To verify everything end to end, I'll run a quick test. I'll ask, what is your capability as an AI agent? Then I'll ask it with a simple task like, please find these hashes from MetaDefender. If I see a proper response and tool calls, deployment is complete. Now that we've confirmed I can access the AISOC2 agent in Teams and my M365 portal using my own account, here comes the fun part. What if we want to share this with other users like our SOC analysts? Since I'm the administrator of all the platforms here, including Teams, I can easily add and share this AI agent across my organization or even to specific groups in Teams. If you're not an admin, no worries. Just reach out to your team's administrator so they can set it up for you. Now let's make your AI agent available in Teams. So here's how. Go to your AISOC2 agent channel and select Teams and Microsoft 365 channel. In the agent preview, click Edit Details. Update the logo, add both a short and long description, and enable a disclaimer. For the disclaimer, put something there that helps set the right expectation for users by reminding them that AI outputs are not guaranteed to be 100% correct and still require human validation. Then after that, expand settings, fill in developer info. I'll skip the partner ID here. Then save. Now let's download the AISOC2 agent. Going back to the Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot channel settings, under the agent preview, click the availability options, then under download a file, click download zip and save the extracted zip file somewhere safe. We'll need this zip copy later when we configure the Teams apps in the Admin Center portal. Now let's open a new browser, then type admin.teams.microsoft.com. This will bring you to the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. Please note that you'll need admin privileges for this. Once log on, navigate to Teams Apps, then go to Manage Apps. Now on the top right corner, you will see the action button. You need to click on it. Then select Upload New App, and a new window will open with Upload button. Click that Upload button. Then it will ask you to locate and select your downloaded agent's zip file. Then once uploaded, there's a new window prompt will pop up. Click the link provided in the prompt. Then it will direct you to the AISOC2 agent settings. Now in the agent settings, by default, the agent is available to everyone, which isn't ideal. So to change this, in the AISOC2 agent settings, click on the Users and Groups tab, then you will see Edit Availability button. Click on it, and a new blade window will appear to the right side. You'll see there the Available to settings. Click on it, and switch it to specific users and groups. And then you can add your target accounts or group IDs. In this demo, I'll only allow my account to use the agent, but in a real setup, you'd share it with your SOC analysts group or other groups that are authorized to use the agent. And that's it. Your AISOC2 agent is now published in Teams and ready for the right people to use. Just a quick heads up, sometimes the agent doesn't show up right away for end users. No need to worry, just give it around 10 to 15 minutes and it should appear. In my case, it took 10 minutes and I tried to sign in and sign out to my user account. After that, I can see the agent on the apps list under Built for Your Org. And one more thing. Before your users can use the MetaDefender API connector connection, you'll need to make sure they have access. To do this, go to the Power Automate portal, open Connections, and then look for MetaDefender API connector. Click on it. From there, click Share, and assign can use plus share permissions to your target users or groups. This ensures your users can connect their agents to the connector, especially important for the MetaDefender integration. Alright everyone, now that we've published and uploaded our agent into Teams apps, let's go ahead and actually test it out. For this demo, I'll be using Norman's account. So here's what I'll do. First, I'll open my Teams app and head over to the Apps section. That's the one with the little plus symbol. From there, I'll click on Built for Your Org. Now just a quick heads up, sometimes the AISOC2 agent doesn't show up right away. Don't worry, that's totally normal. Just give it 10 to 15 minutes before trying again. Once it appears, I'll simply click on it, press Add, and that brings me straight into a chat window where I can start testing and having conversations with the AISOC2 agent. Since this is the first time I'm using the agent, it's going to ask for some permissions. That's expected. Just make sure the user already has access to the custom connector, Outlook, and Defender for Endpoint Advanced Hunting. And there you go, just like that, we're up and running with AISOC2 inside Teams. Now that we are done setting up the AISOC2 agent for our SOC analysts, and they can access it directly through the Teams channel, we will now put AISOC2 agent to the test. In this scenario, the threat actor has already deployed a malicious instance of the LogMe and Resolve agent on the victim system. Since this is legitimate software, widely used in corporate environments, it doesn't immediately raise suspicion. This is a classic living off the land tactic. Instead of installing noisy malware or obvious backdoors, the attacker abuses trusted tools to blend in with normal IT activity. With the malicious Resolve agent active on WinSVR app 01 machine, the attacker gains persistent remote access into the corporate domain, which is the rocku.local domain. From there, they can move laterally to other critical systems like Win SVRDB01 machine, where sensitive data is stored. The good news is that these devices are instrumented by Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. This provides visibility into processes, network connections, and activities happening across the environment. At this stage, the threat intelligence team provides IOCs, file hashes, suspicious file names, and remote IP addresses linked to the attacker's activity. The SOC analyst receives this intel and turns to AI-SOC2 agent. Using the telemetry collected by Defender for Endpoint, AI-SOC2 agent investigates the environment and confirms whether any of the reported IOCs are present. This demonstrates how AI-SOC2 agent empowers SOC analysts to bridge the gap between threat intelligence and endpoint visibility, quickly uncovering attacker activity that hides in plain sight. Now I am going to ask the AI-SOC2 agent using the Norman account to help us investigate and hunt for the reported IOCs. Here we will see AI-SOC2 actively collecting and analyzing the data, and once the agent completes its task, it will not only detect and provide the findings, but also recommend what steps to take next. There you have it. AI-SOC2 was able to uncover potentially malicious activity based on the IOCs present in the environment. It detected the go-to-resolve terminal binary running on the Win SVR App 01 machine, and also identified the MSI installer, indicating that the agent had been installed. AISOC2 then provided an overview of go-to-resolve terminal, explaining its purpose, possible legitimate uses, the security considerations, and the risks if abused. Finally, it delivered an expert-level analysis with clear recommendations and next steps. What might normally take a SOC analyst significant time to piece together manually was completed by the AI agent in just minutes or even seconds, accelerating both detection and investigation. Alright, that wraps up our walkthrough. We've seen how the AI-SOC2 agent works hand in hand with connectors, tools, and knowledge sources to support SOC analysts in investigating IOCs and generating reports. The best part? This setup doesn't replace analysts. It empowers them. It makes the investigation process smoother, faster, and more efficient, giving SOC teams more time to focus on what truly matters, which is keeping the organization secure. Thank you so much for joining me in this demo. I hope this gave you some new insights and ideas on how you can leverage Copilot Studio and AI agents in your own environment. I'm Norman, and I'll see you in the next video.